What is up, guys? I'm back with another video giving you guys a portfolio update. Today was a very solid day, up $13.62. Finally crossed the 2,000 mark um, on how much I have invested since I started this strategy in early May, which is a good thing. I'm happy about that. Best performance of the day came from CoreWeave, up 9.83%. It must have heard how much trash I've been talking about it over the last few videos, I want to say, because obviously yesterday I was down, I think, $33, $34 worse. Worst stock in my entire portfolio, performing the most poorly. And then all of a sudden today it is no longer the worst stock. It has now handed that baton to United Health. So props to CoreWeave for shutting me up and getting from the bottom, because it's been sitting at the bottom for quite a while. But is this temporary? Is this just one of those things? Is a little bounce and then it's right back down? I'm not sure. I don't know. It's up 14% for the week. Still down 21% and 21.5% on a month. I'm only down $18 on it. Not only down almost 10%. It's I'm just watching. Let's just say that I'm just observing. I don't know what it's gonna do in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, month, 2 months. I really don't know. I did say in the last video that CoreWeave is one of those stocks where yesterday it could be down. I could be down 35, 40, $50 on it, and then in 2 weeks I could be up 10%. So this is just a perfect example. Of course, it proved me right the next day when it went up 10%. Do I think it's going to do that 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row? Probably not, but definitely has the potential to turn around really quickly. So it's just one of those things we're going to have to wait and see on that one. Advanced micro devices, I only have $30 in it, but it was up 5.5%, a little over 5.5%. So I'm looking at a $2 gain, almost 7%. It's gonna take a little bit more for me to hit $15 gain on this one, but still give AMD a shout out for being up 5.5% today. Robinhood is another one. Has the potential to put for me to hit my $15 profit target soon. I don't know how soon. It could be a week, it could be 3 weeks, it could be a month. I don't know what it's going to do in the short term. But I like where I'm sitting at right now. $7.73 gain, almost 13%. $60 invested in it, so it's shout out to Robinhood. I think I already made profit on Robinhood, so I think so. Let me look at the month here. Yeah, I sold it pretty much at the top, at 112, or almost 113, and then it pulled back. I bought some more, and now we could be looking at another sale in about 3 weeks. So a 3 week turnaround period. So that's nice. Now let's look at a few. Obviously, we got Taiwan Semiconductors, which is also performing pretty well for me right now, up $6.85. Gotta give TSMC some love. MicroStrategy, it is hanging around. They're not really down, not really up. Just I just I have to give it a little bit of time to make a move. Apple, interestingly, let's talk about what's going on in the world. Apple just announced they're investing another $100 billion into America because Donald Trump is obsessed with bringing business back to America, and we all know that Apple cannot make their phones completely in America, especially not in the short term. It's just flat out impossible. So they apparently they make a good amount of components in America. Like I think they said screens and a few other parts, or whatever. But the final assembly is obviously not in America. But that did save them from the new 100% tariffs on, I think, semiconductors in India and Switzerland. So, props to Tim Cook for somehow, some way finessing his way out of that death sentence. But uh, Apple in the last week up 4.34%, up 3.17% today. Not really a big mover, but since you know them all of a sudden not being affected by tariffs, I think that people are just a little bit more bullish on it. You know. SoFi is another one up $9. If you look at my total return, definitely sitting near the top there, sitting in second place. Um, that was, I think SoFi was the one that hit 14.97. So when you talk about stocks that sticking to the plan, and you wait for 15, and then it hit 14.97, and then it went all the way back down to I think like $4 or $5, $6, and I was like, wow, how you couldn't touch the top closer than that and not hit it. So hopefully that comes back up. Do I regret not selling at 14.97? Eh, you know, yeah, it's another $15 in my pocket, but it happens. It happens. I can't complain about this one when I have the other ones that I'm making $17, 16, 19, 20, 23. So, if you have a couple that go your way, every now and again one is going to go against you. So, patience is a virtue. Sometimes it just doesn't always work out how you want it to. NVIDIA also performing nice, up $8.31. My computer is about to die, so let me plug this up real quick. There you go. So I do not want to lose this video. Now, only up, not even up 1% on the day, but has been consistently performing well. Up 11.5% on the month. I'm up 23%, 23.74% on the stock. Great return. Only $35 invested because I just don't get too many buying opportunities with NVIDIA, but hey, $35 invested, looking at an $8 gain, $8.31 gain. I can't complain about that. That's nice. All right, now let's look at a few. Let's look at a few down, a few down stocks. Eli Lilly, I believe there was a weight loss pill that didn't produce the results that kind of Wall Street was looking for. I think another company basically doing better than they are with their pill or whatever, and they didn't meet Wall Street's expectations, and we already know how Wall Street is about that. Next, Figma, obviously um, new to it just went public a few days ago, or not a few days ago. When did it go public? August, yeah, a few days ago. It was up 100 or 250% on like its first trading day. So this is just I feel like a natural pullback. It's people taking profit. It's a little cool down. I'm not really. It's kind of one of those experiments for me. I like to experiment with IPOs. Sometimes see if you can make some money on them. I think Figma is an interesting company. They do, if you don't know what Figma is, they do like you know you write a prompt and then it gives you a website or whatever. So interesting stuff, just very interesting stuff. Just have to give it time to see this. It's only been on the market for a couple of days, so that's nothing literally. Circle, another company that just went public not too long ago. I think this is another case of just having a little cool down. Something that's interesting is the volume is starting to dry up just a little bit, averaging 15.79 million but today only 10.08 million. So it's just a natural pullback. People is taking profits. Some people just not as high on it. You know, hey, I'm not really. I don't really get too caught up in all that, but obviously it's not entirely uncommon for it to pull back after having a very very hot start. Um, Also bought a little bit of Oracle, Shopify, Caterpillar, Adobe today. Um, not the ones you see very consistently. Not a lot of Adobe, not a lot of Caterpillar, not a lot of Oracle. About $3 on Oracle. About even on Shopify. Up 2.5 on Caterpillar, and down $1.76 on Adobe. So just sticking to the plan. You buy when it goes down. Um, Obviously, I don't like to buy when a stock is up. I'm really not a fan of averaging up because I feel like it's a bit counterintuitive to this whole strategy. But I'm obviously sometimes I do average up because obviously if I'm up on a stock, that's a bad example because I'm definitely not up on that stock. But if I'm, my average cost is 98, current price is 111. If it goes down 2% tomorrow, obviously if I buy, I'm gonna average up. But that's it's not really. I don't see it. I feel like there's a fine line between buying too much and not buying enough. There's a thing about time in the market beats timing the market. Am I the biggest fan of that quote? Not necessarily, but I do think there's a lot of truth in that. So, do I want to just sit on the sideline and only buy when the stock goes down? No, because I'll miss a lot of upside. But I don't want to constantly just be buying going up because then I'll just always, if I'm buying when it goes down, I'm buying when it goes up. When am I ever not buying? So you gotta have a little bit of balance there. Yeah, that's about all for that. I want to say something that you have to remember is that green days don't mean that you're a genius, and red days don't mean that you're dumb, right? CoreWeave is up 9, and this is something I struggled with previously with investing. I tried to figure out, why did CoreWeave go up 10% today? And I'd be like, oh, okay, so this happened. So then CoreWeave went up 10%. And then I'll try to look and see, oh, how am I going to find the next stock that's going to go up 10% tomorrow? I need to figure out what makes these stocks have these big jumps. But sometimes you got to realize there's no particular reason why it went up 10% today. There's no particular reason why it went up 6% today. People just bought it and it went up 6%. The market does what it wants. It doesn't do, you just have to understand there's going to be red days, there's going to be green days. And because in the past, I was trying to, you know, figure out what makes the market tick, right? When I didn't catch it, so when I would see the portfolio, I'm like, man, why didn't I buy CoreWeave yesterday? Or why didn't I buy CoreWeave last week? If I didn't, man, it must be something wrong with me. No, it's not nothing wrong with me. Who wouldn't, I mean, something like Eli Lilly, you might be able to predict. You might be able to kind of predict that. But that, prime example, yeah, it went down 14%, but it didn't necessarily have to. It could have been up 2%. People could have really not cared about the fact that the drug didn't do as good as they were hoping. People could have just not really cared. Wall Street could have not been that affected. Same with tariffs. You think because the new tariffs are coming out that the market would be down, but not necessarily. People are not really too phased by the tariffs, honestly. That's why a lot of stocks are up. Because otherwise, if they really were worried about tariffs, then the market would be doing a lot worse than it is. I'll just say that. Um, Kobe Bryant, one of my favorite players of all time, just because his mindset. I'm a basketball guy, played basketball. Um, he talked a lot about loving the process and not being in love with the results. I genuinely love waking up in the morning, checking my portfolio, checking my stocks. I want to see what's up. I want to see what's down. Because he said this. He said, if you succeed, that's great, but you're going to have to get up tomorrow and do it all over again. If you fail, that sucks, but you're going to have to get up tomorrow and do it all over again. It's loving the process that is the real, that's the real dream, right? It's not just making a bunch of money, right? Because money money can buy you pleasure, it can't buy you content, right? You have to actually enjoy what you're spending your time doing, right? And just to tie those two things in together, when the market goes up, I made a video saying, "Oh, like let's go to this day right here where I went my portfolio went down. I was in a positive. Next thing I knew, I checked and I was down $58. Right? Not lovely. I didn't love it, but at the same time, that's just how it goes. You know, when the market go down, sometimes the numbers are not going to look the greatest. But that doesn't mean that all of a sudden I need to throw my hands up, take my ball and go home. I'm done investing because whatever. CoreWeave not producing good results for me at all for the bulk of the month. And then all of a sudden now a little one day here, another day here, and I'm only down $18, right? And who knows where it can be by next week, by this time next week. Um, so yeah, I'm a little all over the place, but nobody likes losing money, of course, right? So if you're looking at $100 loss, yeah, not thrilled about that. You're not gonna be thrilled about that. Nobody wants to lose money. But you can't get so caught up in, you know, every single win. It's almost like you made money today, so and we all know that losers affect you more than the winners do. So losing money, people hate losing money more than they like winning money. People just don't like to lose. But Michael Jordan said he has he's won because he lost. He succeeded because he failed. Sometimes you're gonna fail. And the thing is, when you succeed, you can learn something from the success, and when you fail, you can learn something from the failure. Maybe, and that's why sometimes you have to experiment. Sometimes you have to try things. Sometimes it's not gonna work out, but that's fine. I'm investing in Figma. Do I know a lot about Figma? No, I don't really know a lot about Figma. And that'll be a lot of people tell you if you don't know what a business does, maybe you shouldn't invest in it. And I think there's a lot of truth in that. But for my strategy, for me specifically, Figma might be good for me. If I was too scared to invest in Circle because I didn't know that much about it, I knew a fair amount, but if I didn't know that much about it, then it would have never been the stock I made the most money. I made $30 on Circle because I bought and sold it twice for $15, right? Or 15 plus. I don't know exactly what the number was, but 15 plus. If I was too scared to lose, oh, it could go against me. I don't know how it's gonna work out. You never know until you try, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Now I know, okay, I can find a little bit of success in IPOs. Does that mean that everyone is gonna work out? Probably not, but that's the learning experience, right? Um, and final thing, the last video I talked about getting caught up in one of those quick results. Maybe I should scale up. Maybe I should start investing more money. Maybe instead of $5 on 2% down, maybe I should start investing 7. Maybe I should start investing 10. Maybe I should double. Maybe because if I, the strategy is working, so maybe if I, scale up, then I can get double the profits. Of course, not necessarily. And you got to realize this. It's going back to this Kobe thing, right? Because I don't know why I'm just thinking about Kobe today, and I just his mindset matches a lot with what I think just life in general applies to a lot of different areas. He talked about consistent growth, right? he said, imagine a person that works out, say, twice a day, 7 to 9, 1 to 3. They are getting better based on how much they're working, right? Now, let's say there's another person gets up at 4 and trains 5 to 7, trains again 10 to 12, trains again 3 to 5, trains again 7 to 9, and you're doing that every day. Think about how much better that person is getting, how much better that person is getting compared to the other one. You're not going to see all the results in one day. You're not going to see them in 1 month. You're not going to see them in 6 months. But, well, you're going to see a little bit in 6 months. But the real separation comes from years and years and years and years of doing that versus the other person working out half as much as you do. So where's the connection in that? Yeah, this strategy is not going to give me the crazy returns right now. Of course, it's not. It's not. It's not going to give me crazy returns right now. It's going to give me good returns, right? And I can be proud of those returns. But it's not going to change my life today. But the more I keep investing, because of course you can always add money, you can always scale up. The more I build the repetition, the more I build the confidence in the system, the more I learn, the more I tweak, the more I, figure out what works best, what works good, what works not so good, right? By having a better understanding of companies, how which companies perform best in my system. The more I learn all these things, the better I will become. And then eventually, with time, I'll see those big returns that there's a lot of other people getting in the world. But you can't compare, right? If you compare, then you're trying to live somebody else's life, and you're trying to get somebody else. I'm not them. I don't have $10,000 to invest right now, right? I don't have $5,000 to invest right now. I don't have 20,000. I don't have 100,000. So I can't compare my success to their success. I can't compare their plans to my plans. I have to focus on me, right? Same with anything in life. Consistent action, consistently showing up, sticking to my plan. That is what's going to get the results. Not chasing, not trying to get rich in 1 month or 6 months or in 1 year, because it just doesn't work like that. So, that's all I have for this video. Just a little update for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like. If you're new to my channel and you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.